I still laugh about it sometimes. How the whole mess started with a letter, just a letter, in the mailbox. Polite, sure, official as all get out, and just dripping with that smug energy only a homeowners association can muster. Silver Canyon's HOA. They wanted my land, and I told them no. Thought that'd be the end of it, right? Oh, buddy, that was just the opening act. SUVs at my gate, fake maps, drones buzzing by at midnight. They kept poking, like I was just gonna roll over and let them take what my family built. They had no idea who they were dealing with. Let me back up a sec. I'm Bradlyn Stone, 42, ex-military investigator, now teaching constitutional law at the university outside Scottsdale. My place. 4 acres, tucked up against a rocky ridge the HOA calls an unincorporated visual obstruction, which is just code for we want it but can't have it. My house was here before Silver Canyon's was even a dream. Hell, the land patent has Lincoln's signature on it. My great-great-granddad homesteaded right here, and I built this house myself when I got out. Every nail, every board, sweat therapy for a guy figuring out what comes after service. So when their first letter showed up, all gold trim, community vision, fair market compensation, I sent back a polite no thanks, plus every document I had. Deed, GPS survey, even a notarized statement from the county. I underlined the bit that said my land was exempt from annexation. Thought I was being thorough. Thought maybe they'd get the message. Man, I underestimated Karen Defire. You ever meet someone and just know, deep down, that they're going to be trouble? Karen was that. President of the HOA, quick temper, longer memory, full-blown God complex. My neighbor Ed called her the type to call code enforcement over the color of your curtains. She once fined Ed for muddy tires. Pearl earrings at every meeting, called herself a civic strategist. You know the type. Anyway, after my polite no, I got a second envelope, thicker, ruder, hinting that non-compliance could mean regulatory review. That's when I looped in my lawyer. Sent back a legal warning, cease and desist, historical maps, surveyor affidavits, the works. Signed in red pen, just so they'd remember. Next day, some sad little flyer showed up on my gate. Stoneview Villas coming soon. With cartoon villas slapped right on top of my porch. Wasn't even subtle anymore, like a ransom note, but more insulting. I scanned it, cataloged it, started a folder. When a black SUV started idling at the end of my drive, 3 silhouettes inside, I figured it was time for cameras, floodlights, the whole 9 yards. Not because I was scared, but because I know how these power games play out, and if you let them think you're an easy target, you're sunk. Then the real pressure started. Legal emails calling my house a legacy-locked parcel hindering modern expansion, basically threatening to steamroll me if I didn't play along. Instead of answering, I just forwarded everything to my lawyer and the county. Karen was setting up for a hostile claim. Might not work in court, but enough noise, and she could sway some city bureaucrat, unless I stayed a step ahead. So I scanned every document, locked the originals in my fireproof safe, and doubled down. Then came the morning siege. Cadillacs, black Escalades, guys in matching polos, folding chairs, clipboards, coolers. Karen herself, sunglasses, sun hat, strutting like she was patent at the front lines, called out, "Mr. Stone, we'd like to speak with you." I ignored her, set up my GoPro, switched on my phone mic, kept my cool. "You're on private property. Leave now," I said, voice steady, no doubt. She flashes her portfolio, calls it an official negotiation request, tells me this is my chance to make a smart decision. The muscle behind her tries the intimidation routine. "Lady, I've stared down cartel couriers and military defectors. You think you scare me?" They set up camp anyway, unfolding chairs like it's a picnic, waiting me out, trying to show they weren't going anywhere. I called the sheriff. Didn't yell, didn't bluster. Just let the dispatcher know there were community representatives blocking my gate. The deputy showed up, took one look, and shut them down. Told Karen unless she had a warrant, she was trespassing. "Pack up your chairs, take your sandwich, and get off his damn driveway." Karen seethed, hissed. "You think this ends here?" I just grinned. "See you in court." They left, slow, sullen, but I knew it wasn't over. Next came the city inspection notice, anonymous complaint about code violations and abandonment. The city inspector was embarrassed, admitted they'd never had a single complaint until 5 arrived that week. I handed him every maintenance record, tax receipt, time-stamped photos. He was in and out in 15 minutes, told me my place was spotless. Someone was just wasting his time. I knew who. Then, new signs, future site, Stoneview Villas, a Silver Canyons expansion project. Had my house erased in the render, replaced with soulless stucco boxes. I ripped the sign out, stormed into the HOA office, demanded a public retraction. They shrugged, blamed marketing, played dumb. Checked the HOA website. My land listed as under negotiation. My name out there for everyone to see. That's when Deborah, my lawyer, kicked things up a notch. Harassment, libel, misrepresentation, and more. They'd moved from annoying to illegal. Drone flyovers at night, flyers in my mailbox, fake PR campaigns calling me the lone holdout. I cataloged everything. Cameras, spreadsheets, time codes. Called the county, pulled every plat, every deed, every record. Filed complaints with the state. At midnight, I got an email, final offer. Let's not make this personal. Just a PDF attachment. Didn't open it. Sent it to Deborah. By the next week, we were in attack mode. Deborah filed a civil suit, defamation, false advertising, harassment, trespassing, coercion, the whole list. I handed her a flash drive packed with every scrap of evidence. She just shook her head, said, "Remind me never to piss you off." Within a day, the lawsuit was served. Karen, the HOA, their shell company, even the real estate firm. Their website went dark. The next morning, a PR guy called begging to resolve this amicably. I told him, "You're not the legal team, call my attorney," and hung up. The pressure ramped up again. Black SUVs dropping threats in my driveway, new banners announcing Stoneview Villas, Phase 1 sold out, marketing my land as if it already belonged to them. Deborah filed for an injunction, got a restraining order to block the HOA from referencing me or my property. The HOA's lawyers claimed it was all a misunderstanding, blamed draft phase renderings, and overenthusiastic board members. Deborah fired back with a 20-page brief, photos, audio, notary statements, the city inspector's report, filed a motion to unseal their internal communications. That's when Karen blinked. Her lawyer begged for mediation. Deborah refused. This is coordinated harassment and attempted fraudulent acquisition. Meanwhile, I'm still getting drive-bys at night, high beams flashing my house. I installed strobe lights on the mailbox. Petty? Maybe. Effective? Absolutely. And then, landscapers show up with a work order, signed by Karen, to beautify my frontage. I flashed the restraining order. They left their equipment anyway. Called the sheriff. "They're poking the bear," he joked. "No, they're waking it up," I said. I thought maybe things would cool off. Wrong again. Got a call from Melissa at the county clerk's office. Said I should come down, fast. Showed me plat maps, stamped official, now listing my parcel as pending annexation. All filed last Thursday. All with forged notary stamps, fake witness names. Someone tried to slip forged documents into the public record, just dirty enough to maybe fool a tired clerk. Deborah's face went pale when I handed her the evidence. This isn't harassment, it's criminal acquisition. She filed motions to freeze everything, called the fraud task force. That night, a new website pops up, stoneviewaz.com, full of glossy renderings of Stoneview Villas, my ridge, my house. The shell company was just Karen hiding behind a new name. We tracked the domain registration, buried through Nevada, but the contact email gave her away. Now the lawsuit was for wire fraud and criminal misrepresentation, too. The judge granted a stay. No one could touch my land. But I knew Karen wasn't done. I tripled my cameras, bought 2 drones, set up a digital fortress. And then, twist time. A guy buzzes my gate, flannel shirt, work boots, ex-surveyor for the HOA. He slides over a folder, internal emails, notes, everything. Karen's own handwriting. Use SC HA215B as a shell doc. Pull signature overlay from the Baker Ridge deal. They'd been forging records for years. Why help me? He shrugged. I don't work for liars. That was the break we needed. Deborah amended the lawsuit. Now it was felony territory, conspiracy, forgery, wire fraud. The HOA started scrubbing their signage. The website disappeared, but we grabbed the archives before it vanished. Then came more threats, anonymous letters, another final warning. Even a late-night drive-up where someone tossed a note over my fence. sell, or someone else gets hurt. That went straight to the sheriff and the attorney general. The court opened up full discovery on Silver Canyon's HOA. Their emails, financials, meeting logs. Deborah called it the gold mine. Then the Department of Real Estate Enforcement knocked on my door. Turns out I wasn't the only one. 2 other landowners had been targeted by similar pressure campaigns. The whistleblower agreed to testify. The evidence mounted. The judge froze all HOA activity. Karen tried one last desperate play. A last-ditch offer to buy me out at a premium if I dropped the case. Deborah just laughed and told her to get lost. By Friday, the HOA was imploding. Resignations, leaks, internal chat logs with Karen melting down, accusing everyone of betrayal. The feds got tipped off about their next meeting. I parked down the road, watched as plainclothes agents went in. Karen screamed, pointed, tried to rally the board. No one stood up for her. They cuffed her right there, under the HOA seal she loved so much. News broke that night. HOA president arrested for land fraud. The story went viral. The board dissolved. The county appointed an administrator, and my land, permanently exempt from HOA reach by court order. Karen, sitting in jail, racking up felonies, harassment, conspiracy, fraud, forgery. Neighbors who'd once glared at me now nodded, mumbled apologies at the post office. I didn't have much to say. My land was finally, truly mine. Deborah and I toasted on the porch, rye whiskey under the stars, new gates and motion sensors guarding the ridge. The threat stopped. The only letters I kept were pinned in my workshop, the threat, and the court order that made it meaningless. If you ever come down that dusty road and see a steel gate, motion lights, and a sign that says NO HOA access, NO exceptions, you'll know whose place it is. Always was, always will be. So here's my question for you. Where do you draw the line? When is enough enough? Drop your take in the comments. Tell me your own HOA horror stories, and let's talk about what justice really means. Because in my book, community isn't about conquest, it's about standing your ground.